I rise in support of Mr. Roy's amendment. And the reality is, it is an invasion on our southern border. And why do you know it's an invasion? Because there are 4 indicia to an invasion. Number one is it organized? Yep. And it is here. It is clearly organized by the criminal cartel. CBP and ICE will tell you, no one crosses the border without the control, permission, or authorization of the cartel. Do the folks coming across, are they coming across in a sufficient number? Well, since they're coming across about 10,000 a day that we encounter, and then probably another 5,000 to 7,000 a day that we don't even catch, I would say that's a significant number and looks like an invasion. Looks like an invasion. Do they pose a danger or a threat? Well, last year, over 100,000 individuals died of opioid overdose. 95% of all fentanyl overdoses are sourced by crossing the Mexican border into the United States. Gee, that seems like a threat. Don't forget, you've got the 56 plus on the Homeland Security, the terrorist watch list that they've caught. Don't forget that we have hundreds of thousands of people. We don't know who they are, where they're coming from, what their intentions are. And actually, doggone it, it's kind of interesting. A couple of them were recently arrested plotting to assassinate the former president, George W. Bush. And then the last indicia is it purposeful? It is purposeful. It's purposeful on the part of the federal government, which has basically sanctioned this invasion, and it's purposeful. Oh, thank you so much. Yes.
The gentleman.
Yeah.
The committee will suspend. The committee will suspend. Our final guests will please behave themselves. Guests will.
You are reiterating the points of a mass shooter, sir. Sir, you are perpetuating this violence, so you know
Out you go.
this is not enough. You're Democrat, Republican. Stop these things now.
Mr. Chairman, didn't the gentleman just interrupt an official proceeding?
Yeah, that would be,
Gentleman,
would be an insurrection
gentleman will
under your
continue.
definition.
The gentleman will continue.
Thank you. And I was talking about purposefulness, the 4th indicia of an invasion. Purposefulness has been indicated here by the federal government as well as the cartels. You have every indication of an invasion, and you have disarmed. With this bill, you're going to disarm people. You're going to prevent them from defending themselves along the border.
Would the gentleman yield?
And there are, not just yet, Mr. Chairman. And what happens is you don't deal with it. I deal with it. I deal with it in dealing with my friends, the law enforcement, the farmers, the businesses, the residents along the border. They deal with it. And this bill, this amendment is necessary to allow them to protect themselves. We have people in Arizona who can't leave their house. I have one individual who sold his house and moved after 17 home invasions by illegal aliens coming across the border. 17. Sometimes his wife was left there without him. He didn't ever know whether he could leave from his remote area, leave her alone. What this amendment does is it allows individuals to own weapons to protect themselves. And that is what's necessary.
Would the gentleman yield?
I'll yield for just a few seconds, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I just have a simple question for you.
Yeah.
By this amendment, you're permitting people who live within the
10 miles of the border.
within 10 miles of the border to have what I loosely call assault weapons, the prohibited weapons. It is necessary, you say, to prevent an invasion because the military isn't doing it. How do you know who to shoot? You see some Mexican-looking people walking down the street?
Boy, let me
do you know
just,
who to shoot?
I'll reclaim my time. That's a really racist statement, because what happens now today is we have people from 150 different nations coming into our country.
But how do you know who to shoot?
Nobody's gonna shoot somebody simply because they're coming across the border. But if somebody's trying to invade their home, you're gonna prevent them from being able to defend themselves. It is a racist statement to say, oh, somebody's gonna shoot somebody because they look like a Mexican. That is absolutely intolerable. And quite frankly, I'm surprised to have heard it from you, Mr. Chairman. But the reality is, this amendment is a logical, rational solution to the problem that you're trying to ignore, quite frankly, and I'll yield back.